When I say there's so much going on in the sky right now, there is so much going on. For the last couple full moons and new moons, I've been emphasizing to you guys that it's been positive and it's been soft. And I say that because sometimes we have full moons like the one that we are having now, which is extremely contentious and extremely charged, and there's so much going on. So without further ado, we're going to get into it. There's actually so much going on right now that I decided not to go sign by sign because it would take like 30 minutes for each sign. We are just going to get into how this is playing out in the world for all of us, stuff that we're all feeling. So I'm going to talk about each planet's impact on this full moon, the energy that it's, bringing to all of us. And then at the end, we're going to synthesize it all together to see what we can learn and how we can best prepare. So first and foremost, in this full moon, we have the sun. So the sun is at 23 degrees of Capricorn, and it is across directly 23 degrees from the moon in Cancer. However, the moon in Cancer is conjunct Mars in Cancer by 4 degrees. Mars is retrograde, so adding a, double, triple layer. And then both of those, the moon and Mars in Cancer, are opposite the sun in Capricorn, but the sun is also loosely conjunct Pluto, which is at 1 degree of Aquarius. Trine from Uranus and a sextile from Uranus, both to the moon and the sun. And then there is the same thing, a sextile and a trine to the moon and the sun from Pisces. So let's break this all down. First, we have the sun, which is in late degrees of Capricorn. Right now, we are all really feeling this push to get things done. We are feeling a push for success, a push for achievement. I think it's very fitting that Capricorn season happens at the time of the new year. Happy New Year, by the way, everybody. During this time, there is this fresh start, this new year, new me sort of energy that pervades all of us. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. We set intentions and we have goals that we want to put out for the year. And at the end of the year, we will all like to think that we've accomplished the things that we said that we were going to. That is the energy of Capricorn all the time. It's always January 1st in a Capricorn's mind. It's always time to get up. It's always time to get started. There is always time for a goal. There are always more goals to set. A Capricorn cannot and does not move through life without goals. This is a cardinal sign. So even more, Capricorn really likes to get things done. There's this very much, and because the sun is so fiery and so big and it's just the heart of our universe, that is what we are all collectively feeling right now. That is where our mind is at for everyone. How can we get ahead? And what is ahead? Ahead looks different to everybody, but whatever it is for you, you want to get there. How can you do that? What do you want to do? That is the stuff that Capricorn is asking us right now. Then we have the moon, the full moon, which is in Cancer. It is in its home sign. I always say every video, when you're at home, you're not at work, and when you're at work, you're not at home. Even if you work from home, there is a mentality and a difference from work mode. Work is outer, Capricorn is outer, it's the 10th house, it's success, it's public persona, it's paparazzi, it's being in the limelight, it's getting up on the podium and speaking, it's getting in front of a phone, it's posting a video, it is showing yourself to the world. You are putting your Batman signal up to the world that's like, hey, I'm here and I'm trying to get XYZ done. Cancer is the complete opposite. Cancer likes to be sensitive. Cancer wants to stay at home. Cancer wants to be around those who are familiar. It doesn't care about putting things out into the world. It doesn't care about being seen. It doesn't have the same sort of goals. And don't get me wrong, Cancer is a cardinal sign. So it definitely has an oomph. It's not like it's just this, sort of soft spot, crybaby sort of energy. Cancer can definitely get things done. Cancer is powerful, but Cancer is powerful in a way that is not concerned with worldly success. It's not concerned with material success. It is concerned with the success of the dynamics of the household, the dynamics of our inner self. How are we relating to our inner child and our family? You know, the holidays just passed, so that brings up a lot of feelings for a lot of people about your family, whether you've seen your family and you had a great time, whether you've seen them and you didn't have such a great time, or whether you don't see them at all. Nonetheless, the ideas of family, themes of family relating to the mother, going back to your childhood home, even if you're visiting relatives, or like we're just visiting relatives over the holiday season, you might be going back to a home that you grew up in or that you spent some time in as a kid, and those are bringing back memories. You're seeing family members at this time, cousins, aunts, uncles, grandparents, nieces and nephews, and aunts and uncles, and all those people, like they're coming to you, and you are, it has brought to the forefront of your mind dynamics that play out in your family and how those things are. And it just makes us reflect and think about how we've gotten along with our family over the years, how we feel towards them, and just our attitude about the theme of family in general. Cancer really wants to stay home. The full moon right now, it being in Cancer, and we focus on the moon and not the sun, even though they are both integral, you know, to the full moon. When there's a full moon in Cancer, we are wanting to stay home. We are wanting to go home. We are wanting to be there to enjoy it. We are wanting to go home so that we can take care of it. We want to assess how we feel with our family members. We want to relax by ourselves. We want to be comfortable. Cancer is about being comfortable. We want to make our couch soft. We want to make our fridge full of food that we like. We want to have our candles lit so that the home is a nice place to be. We want to have couches and chairs and tables set up so that we can invite our family members over so that they can be comfortable, so that we can bond with them. So the moon is essentially saying, like, let's stay at home. The opposition is highlighting the disparity between what we want to do ambition wise and how we are feeling emotionally. There is a huge part of us that wants to go out into the world and get things done right now and focus on accomplishment and outer success. And then there's another part of ourselves that wants to shut off our phone and step down off of this metaphorical podium. We want to simultaneously take our hair down, put on our favorite PJs, put on our house slippers, and settle into our favorite spot, you know, and on our couch. We want to cuddle up, get some tea. We want to watch our favorite show. We want to cuddle with our dog, with our kids. We want to bring our loved ones in, and we don't want to think about work all at the same time. So there's very much this conflicting energy going on in the sky, very much a back and forth, as happens with all full moons. However, the fact that it is in two cardinal signs makes it even more of a pull in each direction, especially, and not just any two cardinal signs. With the moon being in Cancer, the moon is like, no, we're staying home, and the sun is like, no, we're going to work right now. So it's a very interesting time, but that is only the first layer. Adding to this, we have Mars, which is retrograde in Cancer, and it is right next to the moon. What that means is, this is a time for all of us where we are feeling more emotional. We are feeling more sensitive, not necessarily to the world. Cancer can be sensitive in general, but what I've noticed most when Mars is in Cancer, and with people who have Mars in Cancer, is that it's only their loved ones that can get them upset. Those are the people who can trigger them the most. Everyone else just isn't that important to them, isn't that big of a factor in their life in order for them to feel upset. I had a Mars in Cancer coworker, and that's how he explained anger to me. And I just feel like that just is a perfect way to put it. They don't care enough about you to be upset one way or the other, unless you are messing with their family. But even then, they don't really still care about you. They mostly just care about the family. There is a huge pull because Mars is our energy and it's our drive and it's what we go after. There is a huge pull, not only from the moon, but also from Mars to stay home. Not just to stay home, but to go home. And there's a bit of a difference. Cancer is more about relaxing and reveling in the home. Mars is about being at home. Cancer will enjoy a phone call with a family member. Mars will make the call. Cancer will enjoy a game night with family. Mars will set it up. Mars will gather everyone together. Cancer, the moon will lounge at home, but Mars here, we're not just lounging. We are fixing up the home. We are redecorating. We're not just eating the food, we're making the food. We are taking action around our home. There is a lot of emotion at this time with our families. Like I said, holidays just passed, so with Mars being here, things could have gotten triggered, especially if any of us were around our family and there were old dynamics that you may be used to, like maybe something happened. There's like a certain dynamic you have with a cousin, or maybe they're always trying to like one up you, or you have an older brother or sister who is very materialistic, and that's how you've known them your whole life, and then you've come back with them during holiday season and you may have just felt like you time travel, like you're back and you're a kid again, because those same dynamics reappear. And that could be very triggering to you at this time because it's already a sensitive spot, it's already a sore spot. This is family that we're talking about, and I think almost no one in this world feels indifferent about their family unless you don't know them or don't have a relationship with them. But then I'd argue that you even probably have feelings about the fact that you don't have feelings for them. So highly emotional time in our inner soul. We really want to focus on that. How do we feel? How can we make it better? How can we make our home more comfortable? How can we get along better with our family members? What does getting along with our family members look like? I realized over this holiday season, sometimes that looks like taking a step back from certain people. Sometimes that looks like calling people a little less or responding to some of the things that they might be doing to annoy you a little less. Mars is also retrograde, so even though you've been feeling anger, you've probably been holding that in, especially because this is in Cancer. Cancer is not the most aggressive. It's not like this is a Mars in Aries or a Sag or a Leo where it's very loud when it's angry. It's already sort of like shy about releasing its anger. And so the fact that it's retrograde, you definitely feel it. It's definitely more internal, but probably just been keeping it on the inside, trying to think how to best go about it. But nonetheless, in our inner world, we want to go back to our childhood, to our family, to our physical home, and we want to tend to that garden, which would make me feel, since the moon is in its home sign of Cancer, that that's where we should focus our energy and not so much on Capricorn. However, adding an even another layer, we have Pluto, which is conjunct the sun in 1 degree of Aquarius. Pluto is so powerful. If you even look at the glyph of it, it's got this sort of collar thing. It is like raising hell. It destroys everything around it, and then you have to build it back up. And that's the beautiful part, because you're not going to build the same thing. And the reason that Pluto comes through and destroys it is because you needed to build something different, and you probably were not going to if it didn't come through. And even if it doesn't destroy something, which a lot of times it does, there needs to be a transformation and there needs to be a change. So even if, like, just imagine a building, an abandoned building, and everybody walks past it every day and everyone just doesn't do anything with it, Pluto will come in and knock it down, whether a tree falls on it or there's a slight earthquake and wrestles it up. So then you have to make something new. And if you're going to make something new, 9 times out of 10, you're going to make something better. You're not going to make something that was worse. So that's what Pluto does. Pluto is not in Capricorn anymore. It has just crossed into Aquarius. So it's not necessarily going to be driven to do Capricornian things as the sun is. It's not, whereas Mars and the moon are pulling you into Cancer, Pluto is strengthening the sun in Capricorn, but it's slightly pulling us towards Aquarius. It still gains a lot of power from Pluto, even though it's in a different sign. It enhances the Capricorn essence of the sun. The sun really wants to get things done. It really wants to change. It really wants to transform its social status, its career. It really wants to transform its achievements. It wants to morph and molt and to grow into a more successful, more dignified version of itself. That's what the sun is feeling. It wants to break through these barriers. If there is a ladder, and each rung is a more progressive or evolved version of us, then that's what it wants to be. In all of our minds, we all have this ideal version of ourselves that we think we are, that we want to be, this imaginary version of ourselves that we feel like is really the real version. And with the sun here, it's about the version of ourselves that is focused on achievement. And Pluto here just is like it's insatiable energy. It never gets tired. It's primal. It's hungry. It's when we hide out in the bushes and we don't get tired and we stare and we don't care if there's bugs crawling across our forehead because we're looking for something. We're trying to get something done. It's a cat and you see it and they lock onto something and their eyes get big, and it's that. Pluto is slightly, though, because it is in Aquarius, having a change on Capricorn. I think Pluto is teaching Capricorn right now, the Capricorn sun, during this full moon, that in order to be successful, you definitely need to network. And the sun is probably wanting to be successful in a form of a group. We have Pluto in Aquarius. It's going to be here until 2044. And what that means is there is power in groups. There is power in progressive social change. There is power in humanitarianism. There is power in friends. There is power in personal dreams, a personal dream of seeing the world be a little bit more progressive than it is today. And it feels like we need to come together in groups to change what we want to change and to make society match what we think that it would be in the year 2024. It's quite crazy, some of the things that go on in this day and time with this technology and with the advances in medicine that we have. That there are still archaic ways of thinking and archaic and, quite frankly, barbaric ways of interacting with each other. So the sun also wants to progress Pluto and push Pluto forward. It's lighting Pluto up to be more progressive, to push us towards our friends. That doesn't get along with Cancer. Cancer is not about friends. Cancer is not about that, because Cancer feels like the bloodline, the people that we love, the people that are at our Thanksgivings and that I'm going to see next year and the year after that. Those are the people that are the most important. It's like friends, and yeah, Cancer has friends, but it's like that's not first for them. So this pull towards career and success and status and friends and change out in the world, all this stuff is outer stuff. And then the Cancer is very inner. So there's this huge, if you look at these red lines, they're thick and there's many of them because there's just so much powerful energy on both sides. We're going to shake it up even more. We're going to add another layer. We have Uranus at 23 degrees. If you guys look at this line, it is such a thick blue line because it is exactly to the degree impacting both the sun and the moon. So it is a sextile to the moon and it is a trine to the sun. When it comes to the sun, Capricorn wants to find ways. It's adding an individuality. It's adding an element of rebellion. It's adding an element of invention, of innovation and newness for how to get these ideas to play out, these energies to play out in our mind. When it comes to the sun, Uranus is giving the sun new ideas and new ways to be successful. It doesn't want to just go down the traditional route and be traditional. It wants to be successful in a way that also stands out. It wants to be not only successful but unique. It understands, Uranus understands, and that's why it's giving this little push to Capricorn right now. Anybody can be successful. And I really do believe that. That is why, that is the whole theme of Capricorn and 10th house energy, that anyone can do it as long as you stick to these like solid principles of consistency and quality and stuff that Capricorn is known for. But not a lot of people can stand out and be successful while also being creative, while also being different. That is what truly makes a brand, makes a person, makes a career one of a kind. So Capricorn, the sun is feeling not just like it desires to be successful, like I said in the beginning, but Capricorn is like, look, and I want to stand out too, and I want to be different, and I want to show you how I can do that in a way that nobody else has done to further propel my success. On the other hand, the moon in Cancer is also soaking up those ideas. And the Mars in Cancer is soaking up that energy from Uranus in the other direction. How can I break free and rebel? How can the Mars and the moon are trying to use the Uranus energy at the same time for their own benefit? These two planets that are in opposition are gaining power and using like the same energy source, but for very opposite things. The moon and Mars are like, how can I rebel against family, against the home, and against dynamics that I don't like? And that doesn't mean anything bad. It just means like, how can I better show up as more of an individual, more myself, when I'm with my family and when I'm in my physical home? Are you in a home that represents who you are? Is it designed? Is it decorated to your taste? Or maybe you're with someone or you live with other people and you don't quite like what's going on. Maybe you have roommates and you're like, I don't really like the decor, or I don't like the cleanliness level, or whatever. You want your house to show your uniqueness and yourself. And when it comes to your family, you want to show them who you are. I think a lot of times in family, we put certain like labels on people, like we slap imaginary labels on people's forehead, and we're like, you're the funny one, you're the rich one, you're the smart one, you're the whatever one. And we can wear these labels out in the world, we can adopt them ourselves. But I think a lot of times, especially if you have a family that is a little bit more dysfunctional, the label that they've put on you and the labels that you would put on yourself don't really match. You want to show up as who you are. You want to let them know, no, this is the unique traits that I want you guys to know me by. This is the label I want you to slap on my forehead. And that's how I want you to interact with me. And so again, there's just this pull from both of these energies in the sky to go in very different directions. However, Uranus is, I would say, so maybe not softening it, but just adding a very interesting layer. It's providing both polar opposite ends of the spectrum, different ways to get to their goal. Maybe also you might be wanting to move at this time, and that might be getting in the way of your career. There could be a sudden move or a sudden career change. Uranus is also about like sudden, like cataclysmic changes. And that can be happening, which further highlights the disparity. If something is happening at work, you're getting a promotion or you're getting a new job, that always tends to take away a lot of time away from the home, because we have to process this change. And if you're moving or something going on in the family, a family secret pops up, or just something happens around the home and you have to spend a lot of time there, you're not going to be wanting to think about your job. So very, very interesting. And then the final layer, we have a Pisces, Neptune and Pisces at 27 degrees, which is forming again a sextile and a trine to both ends of the spectrum, further making this more complicated. Neptune is at home in Pisces. What it's doing is providing a sense of idealism, a sense of dreaminess, and a sense of compassion to what's going on in the sky at this time. When it comes to Neptune's relationship with the sun in Capricorn, not only is the sun driven by Capricorn, not only is it feel intense and determined because it's next to Pluto, and not only does it feel inspired and innovative and different and revved up because of Uranus, it feels dreamy because of Neptune and Pisces. Dreamy in the sense that they always say you should visualize things before you go to sleep. It's trying to visualize what is the best way to meet my goals. In my fantasy, if you could wave a magic wand, what would your career look like? What would you be doing? How would you feel when you woke up to do your job? What kind of aspects of your life would be impacted by having this dream job? Those are the questions that they're not even questions, they're feelings that come to you and that you desire and you fantasize. Like, man, if only I could have this dream job, or if only I had this sort of relationship when I went to work. Maybe you don't even care what the job is. Maybe you're like, I fantasize about having a job that isn't open 365 days a year so I can have off on holidays with my family. I fantasize about having a job that has a more traditional 9 to 5 schedule and not something where I have to work on the weekends. I'm pretty much telling you guys how I feel about my job, but these are the kinds of things that are going to be coming up. It's not even a conscious visualization. You just might be doing something and these little visions, these little daydreams come to you about how you would love to idealistically relate to your work. How the moon and Mars and Cancer draw from the Neptune and Pisces. There is an idealism and a fantasy that you have about family and about your home and about how you relate to them, about your inner child. You have fantasies in your head, and they're not ones that you try to conjure up. These are fantasies that they just pop up to you, and you might just be brushing your teeth. You might be like, man, I wish that I got along better with so-and-so, or I wish I could visit this person more often, but maybe they live far away. You know, maybe there's nothing even wrong in the relationship. You just wish that you could visit them. And you just had this fantasy in your mind about how family could be and how family should be. You have this fantasy in your mind going about how your home could be physically, how it can feel when you walk in. It's like these Pisces daydreams are not daydreams. They are really, I think, portals into these other dimensions where you get to really feel and see what it would be like to live an alternate version of your life. Think about how you want to feel when you come home. Even doing small things like boiling a pot of water with some cinnamon in it, getting that in the air, lighting a candle. Maybe you want a nice little nightlight. I just hung up some art I want to show you guys. Look at all that stuff in the corner. Maybe you want more art in your home. Pisces is definitely creative. There's a certain sort of feel, a comfortable feel, a homey feel, a loving feel, welcoming, calm feeling that you want to feel when you come home, and you fantasize about what that would be like. How Neptune, and why I decided to end the video on Neptune, impacts what's going on in the sky is that there is a real compassion that Neptune is showing to both sides. Neptune is like, look, I understand. It's like if all the planets were players, or, you know, or actors in a play, actors in a movie. There are all these characters, and Neptune is playing the middleman. Neptune is like, I understand that you want to go out in the world and you want to get stuff done and you want to be successful and you want to be somebody and be respected and dignified, and you want to build a platform from which you have power. I understand that. It gets that fantasy. And then it's like looking over to the moon and Mars, and it's like, I understand you too. I understand that you want to go home. I understand that the world is not all about things that can be measured. It's not all about what's in our bank account. It's not all about how many followers you have on a certain platform or your numbers, your metrics. It's not about how much sales you did or how many boxes of things you sold. Sometimes it's about if you've done enough inner work to be able to call a family member. And I'm getting emotional because I can just feel like this energy. Have we, Neptune understands how sensitive our family is, no matter what your family is like or the dynamics, how sensitive of a spot that is for us, and how we wanted to feel safe, and how that takes work. And not the kind of work that Capricorn does, but a different kind of work where we have to assess who we are and who our family members are and what's the best way to interact. Neptune has compassion for all of that. It's like, hey. If the two sides are arguing, that Neptune's like, I hear you. And then Uranus is coming in and it's like, look guys, we can find a solution for what both of you want that's going to be unique and make both of you happy. But at this current point in time, there is this pull towards that. I would say that everybody is feeling a simultaneous desire to stay at home and lay in bed and watch our favorite shows, and also a desire to get out in the world and make something of ourselves and do something that we feel like is recognized in society. My advice for everyone would be to have compassion, would be to think of innovative ways to do both, and to have a real check on our emotions. They are going to be strong with the Pluto and the Mars opposition and the Mars being retrograde. Things will smooth out and you will find a way to incorporate both of these areas into your life and make both sides happy. That is what the full moon is asking us to do. How can you best achieve a work and home life balance in your life, and how can you make it unique to you? So you guys, thank you for watching this full moon video. Thank you for watching this full moon video. This full moon will be happening on January 13th, 2024, and it's going to be a big one. So I'm very excited. I'm slightly nervous, and we can have a conversation in the comments about what you hope to get out of it. And I also want to know if you guys like this format better than the sign by sign interpretation. Anyway, Happy New Year, everybody.